Katie. Hi, I am so glad to have everybody on tonight. We are going to be talking about something that is really in a crazy way, something that pretty much every woman either struggles with or has struggled with: comparison. So I remember in 2009, had never even heard of Plexus. I remember grabbing my stomach rolls at a concert, going through this dialogue in my mind of, if I could run, if I only ate carrots, okay, I'm only going to eat carrots. When I get home from this concert, I'm going to lose weight. If only I were this, if only I were that, if only, then I'd be lovable. Then somebody would want me. I just compared myself to I don't even know who, and it like wrecked my brain. It wrecked my soul, it wrecked my heart, and it hurt relationships. Then you come into Plexus where you're around a bunch of incredible women, and you see a lot of people and men, and you see a lot of people going really fast or doing really amazing with their social media, or their health stories are so huge. And then you sit back and you compare, and what do you do? Like, if you get into that unhealthy place, that comparison can really hurt. I want to have everybody in the comments write out something that they have struggled with comparison wise. And if you haven't, write that too. But with this business, I want you to take 2 seconds and I want you to write in the comments something that you have struggled with in comparison here with Plexus. Lack of momentum, ranking up, seeing others moving faster. So rank, see, my gosh, that's a lot. A lot of people are saying people are moving faster. Social media, struggling to help with duplication, ranks. Why can they find business builders and I can't? Leadership, ads, ranks, social media, no one's interacting. You guys, I hope everyone is reading these comments and giving yourself like a breath of fresh air, like, okay, like I'm not the only one that has had this thought. I'm not the only one that has struggled with this thought. I want to read to you guys something that John Maxwell says about comparison. And listen to this. I think it's really important. He says, comparing yourself to others is really just a needless distraction. Whoa, like that's like right there, we could stop right there. When we compare ourselves, that's a distraction that's not necessary. We are allowing that distraction to come in when we start comparing ourselves. So true. He says, the only one you should compare yourself to is you. Your mission is to become better today than you were yesterday. So good. When we have unhealthy comparison that impedes our health, that stalls our growth, and we're talking specifically about Plexus here and this business, it cripples our team and it creates self-absorption. Those are all things that either I personally have experienced or I have seen with people on my team or people outside of my team. Comparison is not serving you. Sitting here and thinking, oh my gosh, she's moving so much faster than I am. Oh my gosh, she's really good at leadership. Oh my gosh, she's really good at social media. And then sitting in a period of sulk and sitting in a period of just unhealthy comparison. What is that doing in a positive way? Nothing. And so tonight we are going to address this. We've got six, well, I'm the sixth. So we've got 5 other women who are going to share a little bit about maybe some tangible things that they have done when they've gotten into that place of comparison and how they've gotten out, maybe a little bit of their story. But I just want everyone to know, like, it is your choice. It is my choice. If I allow comparison to rule my mind, I am allowing comparison to hurt my growth, to cripple my team, to break my heart, hurt my health, hurt my family because of those negative emotions that are going to spew over from myself. So that comparison, that unhealthy comparison, is our choice. I love the idea, the mindset of this is a marathon And this is a hashtag one plexus where we can link arms with one another and we can go and learn. When you see that Carolyn is doing amazing with X, Y, and Z, rather than sit in a moment of sulk and, oh man, oh, woe is me, in a victim mindset, go and reach out to Carolyn and love on her and encourage her and tell her that she's doing amazing at this. And you're recognizing that, and ask her questions. If that's not where you're strong, ask her questions. Embrace this one plexus, encouraging, supportive nature that we have here. Don't sit in that victimhood, because that's not serving you, and that's going to kill your team, and that's going to kill your business. And your husband's going to say, why are you doing this? This isn't fun for you. This isn't fun for me. This isn't fun for anybody. But it can be fun. But that comparison is a huge, huge factor that we need to stop. So we are going to start the call off. We had some moments, but I think, is Katie on? Yeah, she is here. She said that she was here. Katie just like ran a marathon to get on here, and her husband's birthday is today. So I'm so excited that she's taking time out of her evening to come and pour into us, because I see Katie as somebody that's super, super healthy with her comparison. So you guys start taking notes. Go ahead, Katie.
Hey, I don't know if it's just me, but Emily was a little jumpy. So if it's my signal, I'll turn off my Wi-Fi. It might have just been me. So let me know.
I think it's you.
But thank you,
her,
Emily, for letting me jump on. I was really excited to get. Okay, hang on.
I just have a fish face.
Okay. Is that better? Can you hear me?
I think so.
Hey, okay. Can you hear me, Emily?
Yes, yes.
All right. But anyway, so thank you for letting me get on here. So Joanna kind of mentioned it last night to me, and she was just asking about whether I struggled in my journey a lot with seeing other people working really hard, or maybe their Instagram or their Facebooks are growing like crazy, or maybe they just are on the leaderboards all the time. And did that seeing those people killing it, does that make me like withdraw inside and start beating myself up? Or does that make me like, okay, like what are they doing and what can I do to make myself better? And as an Enneagram 3, I guess I'm kind of a driven person in that respect. And I think because Joanna is such a wonderful leader for me, if she's doing something and she tells me to go for it, like I believe that I can do it. So I just kind of have my blinders really tight on her leadership for us. Like I trust her so much. And so if she tells me I can do it and go for it, I'm going to go for it. And that doesn't matter if it's like I'm plugging away or I'm like killing it. It helps me stay focused. I've had people, they'll be like, hey, did you see so-and-so's team or so? I'm like, literally, I've got so much work on my own team. I kind of just focus on myself, and not in like a selfish way, but like I have so many people to pour into. I don't have time to keep my eyes flying to the side. And like that quote goes, you know, the grass is greener where the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. And if we are watering our grass, it's going to grow and we're going to see the fruit of our labors. But if we're so busy looking at everybody else's fields and their flowers blooming, we're not going to be doing the work or having the focus on us that we need to have in the right way, having the inward focus. Another thing, kind of like Emily mentioned, the Bible says that those that compare themselves by themselves are not wise. And my parents just kind of raised me with that verse, remembering if I saw somebody who was prettier or had this or was richer or like had that like freedom to do that, like just stop comparing yourself. You're not their life. Their parents are not your parents. You don't live in their world. You have your life that God gave you to live. Be satisfied where you are in the way that you should be content. Always keep growing yourself. So don't be satisfied where you are in that respect. But I think just a matter of just not letting your eyes look around at everybody's. So like there was one other quote that I really love. It says, don't let your ice cream melt while you look at everybody else's sprinkles or something like that. And I just love it because it's so true. We have so much, and we have everything that other people have that are being successful. But what they have is focus on what they've been handed. And so I think it's just really a simple thing, but it's a hard thing as well for a lot of us to just really master. Something that I love to do is if I see somebody who's killing it, maybe they've grown 10,000 followers on Instagram and like 2 weeks with reels. Okay, well then that means reels are going to bring in new contact or people for me. So I need to up my game. I need to put myself out there and maybe reach out to those people and say, hey, what seems to be working for you? I reach out to people from other companies. Like I have a Monate friend, I have some different makeup friends, and if they're killing it, like obviously we're in this, we're all mom bosses from home, and they're usually really friendly and able to like share some tips and that sort of thing. And I follow them, not because I'm interested in their business, but I'm seeing that something they're doing is growing. And so I feel like I can apply those things. So if you look at other people, not in the envy way, but like the what can I take from you? What meat can I take from you and apply to my business? I think that's just a better balance versus being jealous of their success, being like, oh, she's over there just like she went from like 4,000 to 10,000 followers in like 2 reels, like being like, okay, this girl's got something going on. I'm following her and I'm going to pay close attention to what she's doing. So I think just the mindset of shifting from being envious and maybe jealous of other people's success to like, that could be me and I'm going to figure it out and start applying some of the things that they're doing. And if it works for you, great. But just remember that your grass is going to grow if you put your focus on it. You don't have to look outside. You are amazing and you have what it takes, especially in this team with Emily, Jordan, and Joanna as our uplines. Y'all, we can't lose, for real. So that's what I've got.
Hey guys, I think it's my turn. My name's Carrie Compton. So sorry. And I'm going to share the very shortened version of my business story so I can share what's on my heart. When I began sharing, it took me a month to go silver, a year to go gold. It was a short 3 months to senior gold, another year to go ruby, and 3 months after that, just this past June, my team and I hit senior ruby. And when Emily asked me to think about comparison and talk about that tonight, I thought back to the very beginning of my business. And honestly, you guys, I don't think I knew enough to know to compare myself because I had no idea what like normal, how it was normal to rank up, if there was a timeline we were supposed to follow or anything like that. I just did whatever she told me to do and I went for it. But I do remember in that year jump, to get to gold, towards the end, after 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, and I was seeing people coming in after me and ranking up above me, it's natural to start to think, okay, what are they doing right and I'm doing wrong? Like, what is it that I don't have that they have? And while that's normal, just like Emily said earlier, you cannot live there, because what happens when you live there is that you end up giving more energy to that person's business than you do your own business and your own dreams. And I seriously doubt that that's why you started this business, is to give more energy to someone else's than your own. You've got your own dreams to work for. One of the many things that is unique about what we do versus like your normal 9-to-5 job is that we don't have anybody over us saying, okay, this is what you got to do, and this is how you have to do it, and this is when you have to get there. You're not going to get an email from Tarl and Alec next week saying, all right, Carrie, Jane Doe, she started 3 months before you and she's already ranked up above you. Like, let's see what she's doing wrong and what you're doing, or what she's doing right and what you're doing wrong. It's just not going to happen. So you don't give the energy to that either. I guarantee you that whatever your desired rank is, whether that be ruby, emerald, sapphire, diamond, whatever it is, I guarantee you that when you get to that rank and then that moment, you're not going to sit back and say, man, that really took me a long time. I really regret that. I wish it wouldn't have taken me so long. You're not going to do that, or I hope you don't. You're going to celebrate the fact that you got to where you wanted to be. It does not matter how long it takes you to get there. It doesn't matter if the person that got there before you joined a year ago and you joined 6 years ago. Doesn't matter what your timeline looks like. If you've ever watched the corporate calls, the trainings that they put out every week, I love watching those. And my favorite part of those is when the jewel that's doing the training that day shows their timeline and how long it took for them to rank up. Because I've seen people on there that it took 2 years And I've seen someone on there that she was in there 8 years and she was at Sapphire, not even Diamond yet, Sapphire. Not a single person sat there and said, I'm really ashamed at how long it's taken me to get here. Because the thing about it is, we know, just like Emily was saying, it's not a race to get there. There's going to be room for you when you get there, and your story is going to be unique to you, and you're going to be able to share that with people who might be in the same position like I was, who are struggling to rank up after a year, and you're going to be able to share with them and inspire them. I'm going to tell you what I tell my kids all the time when they're fighting and bickering. I say, don't worry about what they're doing. You worry about you. And it goes with our business, really. Don't worry, excuse me. Don't worry about what the person beside you is doing. Worry about you. Put your focus on your business and your dreams. And truly, the only way that you will not succeed at this is if you quit. So just do the daily things. Don't quit. Just like Katie was saying, put your blinders on and work.
Hey guys, can y'all hear me? Thumbs up. Okay, awesome. I'm Callie, and I just want to throw this out there, how prevalent comparison is in every waking moment of our lives, especially as women, y'all. Like Carrie was speaking, and the whole time I'm like, dang, I don't know if I can follow up with that. Comparison, guys, right in front of me, and my heart starts racing and I start second guessing what I'm doing. And so don't think, even those of us who have been here for a little while, that we don't struggle with it too. And so for me, something that I have started doing, first of all, Emily, thank you for asking me to share. She came to me last night, asked if I had any stories on comparison or if I had an experience with comparison within my business. And I started thinking back and reflecting, that's so important for us to constantly reflect in our businesses, guys. And I start reflecting, and I think back on all of these different situations, and every situation really was completely different from the next, but my response to each situation was the exact same. I started questioning who I was as a leader. I started questioning the way that I was running my business, what I was doing in my business, and in turn, I started feeling terribly about myself. Again, that whole heart racing. If you have, listen, we're one plexus. Yes. And I want everyone to succeed. But if there has been someone maybe within the business that is making you feel a certain way, again, questioning what you are doing, I want you to recognize that and put blinders up. And here's a tangible tip that I have done in order to put blinders up. Like I said, my situations are different. Some people I've had leave and go to a different company. For some people, I've approached them about the business. They say, yes, they want this. And then they kind of ghost me, and I see them make a post that they're with someone else. All of these things have me questioning myself. And so what do? Y'all, I mute them on social media. Doesn't mean I don't like them, but when I'm scrolling, or if I'm watching these people's stories and this person pops up, and if you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like I said, your heart kind of starts racing, your armpits get a little sweaty, and you don't have a positive feeling. I want you to recognize that and actually take action and simply mute them. It's okay. We can still love them. I had to do this with one of my very best friends who left and started promoting a different product in a different company. I still loved her. She wasn't any less of a friend to me. I just knew that it made me feel really crappy every time I saw her post something in her stories. And so I recognized it and I muted her. So it is as simple as that. And y'all, outside of the business, don't just do it for other people, if she was talking about, Emily, you were talking about, being at the concert and thinking, I'm not feeling too good about myself. I'm going to go home and eat carrots. if you see someone who made a post and they're looking hot in a bikini and you're not feeling good about yourself, you can do a couple of things. One, if I'm not feeling too good about myself about that girl in the bikini, I use it as motivation. I don't dislike her, okay, but I do use it as motivation. Man, I need to get my rear end in gear. You know, I'm going to Mexico in a couple weeks, and I'm gonna work a little bit harder, right? Because I'm inspired by what she has posted. But also, again, if it's a negative reaction, you can just mute them. You don't have to unfriend these people. You don't have to block these people, but just mute them. It is as simple as that. So there is a tangible tip that I personally do kind of on a daily basis. Kara, I think you're up next.
Yes, that's so good, Callie. I do this not even just with like Plexus stuff, but like political things. Sometimes I'm like, I just can't even have that. I don't even have that energy right now. So I'm just going to like not engage with that. And that's been super helpful. So yes, I'm Kara, and I'm on Emily's team, and I am going to talk a little bit about my journey with comparison, but also I'm going to talk briefly about like coaching people through comparison. And so, because as a leader, right, you're leading this team, and you're going to have people, because everyone deals with comparison. So you're going to have people come to you, their upline, their sponsor, they're going to be like, oh, why am I doing? And so like how to coach those people through it. But I want to start. So I started in January of 2018, and I started at the same time as another girl and we were like, me and this girl, we were going to do Fast Start Gold together. Okay. So Fast Start Gold back in the old days was you had to assign 20 people or get 100 points within 30 days. And that was the goal. And I'm telling you, I worked my butt off. I worked so hard. I messaged so many people. I posted all the time. I worked so hard, and I signed 5 people my very first month. 5. The other girl that went with me, she got Fast Start Gold. So she got 20 people and I got 5. And that's how my journey started, was that first month. But you know what? I was so dang proud of the work that I put in, and those 5 people that I got to help. And like that really was like, I didn't even recognize that she got Fast Start Gold and I didn't. Like I was so focused on the work that I did, and I was so proud of what I did that I didn't even have time to think about, well, she got Fast Start Gold and I didn't. And actually, it was really funny. Emily was like 3 days left in the month, and she was like, okay, you have 5 people. Let's see who we can get those to silver so you can go gold. And I was like, Emily, I have worked so hard. I don't want to spend the last 3 days like killing myself trying to do this. And so just like being very, very content with that. That doesn't mean I didn't have big goals of wanting, and I'll tell you right now, that girl who went Fast Start Gold with me, she is not doing this. She quit months later. I'm here 3.5 years later as an Emerald, and she's not doing anything. Not to diss her, but that's just like where our journeys and how I thought that ended, that's completely different. And so I actually didn't plan to talk about that part at all. But when Carrie started sharing her journey, it made me remember that instance of that very first month of me joining. So kind of what she in my notes, what everybody else has said, do not spend your energy here. This is comparison can suck your energy out. And so just don't spend it here. If you notice that it's coming, just like stop, like just make the choice, like Emily said, to just stop that. Fill your mind with other productive things. And focusing on gratitude is definitely like my number one tip. And people come to me, and even I felt this way too, of like kind of this desperation. And so we're talking about comparison with rank ups, right? And so we're saying, but I just need to be this rank. Like for my family, I just need to be this rank. Like it needs to happen now, right? And so that's why we get into that comparison. And that is that negative energy that just is like draining, and it's not helpful. And so when you are focusing on gratitude for where you're at, the lives that you are changing, and trusting the Lord that he is going to supply your every need, right? And so you're saying, I need this rank right now. And I'm saying the Lord will provide your need. If you need that rank to quit your job, if you need that rank to put food on your table, the Lord will provide your needs for you. Okay. And so I just pray that you trust in that and that you can rest and be content and trusting in the Lord's provision because he is good. Okay. So when someone comes to you with comparison, oh man, like Michaela said, it's me. I'm the one who comes to her. You're not the only one who comes to me, Michaela. But so when you have someone that comes to you, I want you to focus on truth, speaking truth to them. Okay. So what comparison is, right? It's all a mind game, and it's all of these things that you believe about yourself that are not true. And so as the leader, you need to speak truth into them, and remind them of the things that they're doing really well. Remind them of the work that they're putting in, share what's true and share what's not true. So if someone says to you and comes to you and tells you all these things that they're believing, tell them well, that's not true. That's not true. And just be open with them and speak truth into them. Praise them for the actions that they are doing. And maybe give them a gentle nudge of what they're not doing, right? And so you're saying, well, this girl's ranking up. And I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, this girl for the last 3 months has been messaging people every single day. What were you doing the last 3 months? In a gentle way, coach them, lead them, but help them see the truth, right? Okay, well, yeah, you're not ranking up because maybe you're not doing the things that you need to be doing. And then get them into action. So when someone is stuck in this comparison cycle, they get sucked in, right? And they want to suck you in. And I say this with all the love to my team. I'm not saying that you're sucking me in of anything, but even I do that too. Of when I'm in that, I want someone to engage with that, right? And so don't allow that. And so don't go round and round doing the same old song and dance every single day. Put them into action. Say, okay, well, let's not focus on that. Let's do this. Let's do this, and bring them into action. Get them out of that funk, and just kind of not just don't take it. Don't go round and round with them because it's not helpful. It's not helpful. Okay, I think those are all of my notes, and I talked a little bit too long, but I hope that was helpful. And as you're coaching someone through, and then as you're dealing with it, just don't spend energy there. It's just not a good place to be. Oh, one more thing, I forgot. Kevin and I were talking through this earlier, and one thing that he said was, comparison is not a neutral thing. And so there are things in our life that we do that are neutral to our business, right? It's not hurting our business. It's not helping our business. Comparison is not one of those things. It's actually one of the things that is hurting our business. And so thinking about, I'm doing all this work all the time, and I'm not seeing effort. I'm okay, well, what work are you doing? Okay, I'm just scrolling. That's not work, right? So, but that's a neutral thing. It's not work, but it's not new. It's a neutral thing. But comparison is actually being a negative portion into our business. Okay, so that's the last thing I'm going to say. And I think Joanna is going to take it away and finish this up.
Wow, you guys, this is so good. I am loving all of this and hearing from these ladies. So encouraging. And it's funny because when Kara was sharing her story about how she was so excited for adding those 5, and she wasn't man, she hit gold, I didn't. I'm the person who would have been man, I worked just as hard. Why didn't I go gold too? So comparison is definitely something that is a struggle for me a lot. It's something I have to work on a lot. So if that's you, I'm in the same boat. So, but a few things. So I just have a few thoughts for that though. I think too, a lot of times we can get stuck when we're comparing. We think we might think oh, well, so-and-so doesn't have a bad, they're not going through this in their life like I am, or kind of comparing like our problems. Like they might not be going through as hard a struggle. That's why they're successful, or things are going better for them because they're not dealing with this. But I heard this quote and I thought it was so good. And it said, if we put all of our problems in a pile and grabbed one, like everyone put all their problems in a pile, we grabbed someone else's problems, we would put them back and take back our own. Everybody has problems. Everyone has struggles. Everyone has hard things and trials in their life. And so we're not special. Like we're not, the only one having a really hard time, even though sometimes it feels like that. So just a reminder that I have to remind myself all the time. So some things that I do. So when I am, because like I said, I'm a work in progress with comparison. But how I feel. So when I am comparing, this is how I feel. I feel unmotivated. I feel like I'll never be enough. I feel frustrated, feel jealous, feel negative. Like those are all awful feelings, and that's not going to get us anywhere towards our goals. But when I'm focusing on not comparing and mentally like, okay, like I'm working at it. I'm not going to, working at not comparing. Here are some things that I do that are super helpful. I'm purposefully shouting out those who are doing awesome and congratulating them. Even those who I'm comparing to, like maybe someone makes the leaderboard. I'm like, man, I'm working so hard. Like, why am I not on the leaderboard? But then I recognize that in myself, and then I go to them and say, hey, and I'm being genuine. Like, you are awesome. Like, way to go. Awesome job. I'm so proud of you. You're doing so good. Because too, like when you're celebrating other successes, like that makes you feel good too, because you are shouting them out, and when you make other people feel good, you feel good. So that's something I do. And learning, like everyone was saying, like learning from people who are going where you want to go. And so turning it into like from a pity party to, okay, well, what are they doing? Like, what can I do better? What can I do that they're doing that could help me improve to get me further towards my goals? And then the last thing that I work at when I'm in that comparison trap, that I mentally like make a note, like, okay, I'm going to do these things, like shout that person out, like learn tips from them. And then getting into action. That's such a huge thing. Getting into action, because when you get into action, then you see results. And when you see results, you get excited. And then before you know it, you are on the leaderboard. So those are just my tips, you guys. It's not some mind-blowing thing, I don't think, but that was it. So Emily, I think it's going to end it.
I know that there are quite a few of you on Jordan's team who need to step off for the VIP call that Jessica Headley is doing. So feel free to do that. We're going to leave a second for Q&A, but I took a quick note. When we are in that place, I want us to step back to and think about, like, maybe we're idolizing these people, right? Like if we're sitting here and watching these people and letting them allowing ourselves to be negatively affected by them, we're putting so much energy into these other people and what they're doing, there could be a little bit of idolization there. So stop idolizing people. You have no idea. I mean, you just heard Joanna, who is a diamond ambassador, talk about how she still really struggles with comparison. So just because you hit a certain rank does not mean that that comparison goes away. That is a heart thing that we have to work on, a heart and a mindset thing that we have to constantly be stretching and working on always. We have to get into action. We have no idea where those people are. And just like Kara said, I think part of the reason I was so afraid, like I was like, hey, we can maybe try to get 15 more people, was because I was afraid that she was going to feel defeated because somebody else reached a goal that she didn't reach. But that's the thing about Kara that has been so good, is that she's steady. She is so steady. She is not on an emotional roller coaster. She's doing her thing. And I think that just goes to show with her business. And so be very focused on that. And then the last thing I wanted to say is have fun. When we get into this comparison mode, it takes away the fun. So I want you, if you're in that place right now, do what Joanna said, purposefully recognize other people, go buy $5 coffee cards and send them to your team of people that you appreciate. Let them know, write them a handwritten note, letting them know how much you appreciate them. Go and remember, what was it that you were doing when you were having a lot of fun with Plexus? Go back to that. Was that you were reaching out to people and building relationships with people and you were helping them with their products? Like, go back to the place where you were having fun with your Plexus business. You guys are amazing. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or unmute yourself. This is maybe not necessarily a call where we would have questions, but we want this to be open for you. Next month is going to be September 2nd. So put on your calendar September 2nd for the next gold and above call. And we have a whole laundry list of things, of topics that we're working through that we want to give you guys over the next couple of months that I think are going to be really good for your leadership, for duplication, for your mindset. But does anybody have any questions or any thoughts before you jump off? Well, you guys, thank you so much for being on. I will get this uploaded as best as I can and as fast as I can. You guys are amazing. Great job on earning this call. Thank you guys for being here. Bye, everyone.